Hey, you ever just vanish? Not in the magic trick way, but in the way a whole community, every single person, every dog, every story simmering on the stove, just disappears into thin air. It's the kind of thought that keeps me up sometimes. Here in my apartment in Brooklyn, the city's constant hum outside my window. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is Hidden Histories, the Untold Files. And today, we're traveling to a remote, frozen lake in Canada, to a mystery that has baffled explorers, journalists, and skeptics for nearly a century. This is the story of the vanishing village of Angikuni Lake. So picture this. It's November 1930. The place is the Kivalliq Region of Canada's Nunavut territory, a landscape so brutally beautiful and isolated it feels like the edge of the world. The air is sharp enough to cut glass. Into this frozen silence comes a fur trapper and prospector named Joe Labelle. Labelle was familiar with the area, and he was making his way to a small Inuit fishing village on the shores of Angikuni Lake. This wasn't a random spot on a map. It was a community he knew, a place he'd visited before, where he expected to find the warmth of a communal fire, the laughter of children, the familiar faces of about 30 people. But when he arrived, there was nothing. No smoke from the huts, no sound, an eerie, profound silence that was louder than any storm. The village was completely, utterly abandoned. But this wasn't a case of people packing up and moving on. The scene Labelle described to the newspapers was what chills the blood. The villagers' personal belongings, their rifles, their precious tools, were left behind. Food was still hanging over cold fire pits. And perhaps most hauntingly, the graves in the village cemetery had been emptied. Not disturbed by animals, but meticulously excavated, with the stones placed in a neat pile. As if whatever took the living had a use for the dead, too. Joe Labelle followed the footprints leading away from the village, but they just stopped, as if the entire population had been lifted straight off the face of the earth. Now, this is the point where I, as an engineer, my mind starts looking for the rational seams in the story. The initial report, sensationalized by the Toronto Star and other papers, had all the hallmarks of a great campfire tale. And in the years since, many have tried to pick it apart. Skeptics rightly point out that no official police report from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police has ever been found confirming Labelle's exact account. Some historians suggest Labelle might have stumbled upon a seasonal camp that was cyclically abandoned by semi-nomadic Inuit groups, and his story got twisted in the telling. The detail about the graves is often highlighted as a potential cultural misunderstanding of above-ground burial practices in the tundra. The rational explanations are there, and they are important. They are the bedrock of any good investigation. But, and there's always a but in these hidden histories, the mystery has stubborn roots. A few years before Labelle's account, in 1931, an independent radio producer named Edwin Dodge claimed to have visited an abandoned village in the same region with similar details. And then there's the curious, often overlooked testimony from the RCMP themselves. While no direct missing persons file exists for Angikuni, the RCMP annual report for 1931 does note an unusual amount of activity and concern about declining numbers of Eskimos in the interior, attributing it to migration, disease, and starvation. But the report uses a fascinating phrase. It mentions the difficulty of getting an accurate check on the population because people seem to just disappear into the wilderness. So even the official record hints at a backdrop of genuine, unsettling disappearances in that vast, lonely land. So we're left with a puzzle. On one side, a potentially sensationalized newspaper story from a lone trapper. On the other, a consistent whisper of something wrong in the Arctic, a pattern of small, remote groups slipping through the cracks of the known world. This is where the story truly lives for me. Not necessarily in the supernatural, but in the human context of that immense isolation. Think about the scale. The Canadian Arctic is an unforgiving architect. It designs landscapes meant to erase you. A sudden storm, a thin patch of ice, a desperate migration toward a hoped-for caribou herd, any of these could explain a tragedy. Disease could sweep through a small community with terrifying speed. The idea of a mass migration due to famine or threat isn't just plausible, it's documented in Arctic history. But the manner of the leaving, as described, the uneaten food, the essential weapons left behind, that's what contradicts a planned, rational exodus. It suggests interruption. It suggests urgency. It suggests panic. And that's the image I can't shake. Not of aliens or vortexes, though those theories are out there. It's the image of a community connected by family and survival, facing something so immediate and so terrifying that they had to run now. They left the very things that guaranteed their survival in that environment. What could prompt that? Was it a predator? Not an animal, but a human one? Were they forced to leave? The emptied graves add a layer of profound cultural violation to the tragedy. In a place where survival is a collective memory passed down, the disturbance of ancestors is unthinkable. It points to a trauma that targeted both the present and the past. This mystery, for me, resonates on a personal level. As an immigrant, as someone who built a new home far from where I started in Bangladesh, I understand the weight of community. It's the net that catches you. The idea of that net being violently, suddenly torn away, with no trace left behind, it's a profound fear. It speaks to the fragility of our stories. The people of Angikuni, whether they were 30 or 300, had stories. Who caught the biggest fish? Who told the best jokes in the long winter dark? Those stories vanished with them. Our history isn't just written by kings and generals. It's written in the quiet moments of everyday people. And when a whole chapter of that human diary is ripped out, we feel the loss, even if we never knew them. So what happened at Angikuni Lake? The truth is, we will probably never know for certain. The most likely explanation is a tragic confluence of natural hardship and human crisis, later wrapped in the fog of a tall tale. But the enduring power of the story isn't in proving a paranormal event. It's in the reminder. It's a flare shot into the night, reminding us of how vast and unknown our world still is, and how many human histories have been swallowed by the silence of time and distance. The Vanishing Village is a monument to all the stories we've lost, a ghostly echo asking us to listen a little closer to the whispers of the past. Thank you for listening to this first episode of Hidden Histories, The Untold Files. If this journey into the shadows of history intrigued you, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Share it with someone who loves a good mystery. And for more from me, Ibnul J. Farabi, and the entire team, visit our home at Light Not Studios. https://www.lightnotstudios.com. Until next time, keep wondering.